The Google Nexus 9 by HTC. It's been a while since Google has come out with a tablet, but this one is looking pretty flagship-orific. But can it take the place of the current Office favorite, although not a Nexus device, one that gets very, very fast Android updates and has also got some pretty balls-to-the-walls hardware in it, the Shield tablet from Nvidia. The NCIX crew spent a week with the device, and here are their thoughts.
With a light activation and silent tactile bump, Toper Type Heaven keyboards bring the best of both worlds.
First off, a physical tour. The 9 is available in lunar white, or in our case, indigo black. The screen is an 8.9-inch IPS display, which means you get those beautiful viewing angle as well as vibrant colors. The screen's resolution is 1536 by 2048, which isn't exactly a 4:3 ratio. Jack noted that he would have liked to see a 16:9 ratio for content enjoyment, although I have to disagree with Jack here and say that I actually quite like the more square form factor of Apple's iPad for general productivity as opposed to purely movie watching. And I know Jack is more into the pure movie watching on his tablet. The selfie camera is only 1.6 megapixels, which is a bit of a strange choice to me. Would have liked to see maybe not necessarily better photo quality, but definitely better video quality, since I'm not going to take a whole lot of selfie pictures with the tablet, but I might want to video chat with people on Hangouts using the camera on my tablet. What's not strange about the front of the device, though, is the front-facing speakers, something that was missing on the Nexus 7 and something that HTC has started to become known for, and I'm glad to see on the latest Nexus devices, actually both the 9 and the 6. On the top, we've got a headphone port. On the right-hand side, we have the power and volume rocker. At the bottom, we find a micro USB port, and the left-hand side is void of any ports or buttons. On the back, there's an 8-megapixel camera with an LED flash, but here's where we actually discover that the Nexus 9 in black has a major fingerprint magnet problem, even though the Shield tablet actually has a very similar soft touch feeling back, but a texture to it that seems to make it less ugly looking once you actually get your hands all over it. As for specs, well, it's running Android 5.0 Lollipop, and obviously it'll be the first to continue to get updates since it is a Nexus device. The 9 is powered by an Nvidia Tegra K1 processor. It's got 16 gigs of storage with 2 gigs of RAM for our particular model here, while as the LTE version has 32 gigs of storage. Onto the user experience. The power button and volume rockers on the 9 are a lot easier to use compared to the Shield tablet, where particularly the power button feels very mushy, and often I can't tell, especially if it's powered off, if I've even powered it on, if I'm even pressing it. Battery life has been good with medium usage. We managed to get down to 50% battery life in 2 days without charging. And for those of you curious about the benchmarks, here we go. The Shield tablet scored 55,092 points using Antutu. Meanwhile, the Nexus 9 scored just slightly higher at 56,870. Do what you will with that. One thing we did find strange, though, was that the Nexus 9 did seem to hang a little bit from time to time when opening up YouTube. Gotta hope it's just an early software glitch, and it should be, based on that the hardware in here is definitely up to snuff. The camera experience was okay, but let's face it, when was the last time a Nexus device blew everyone's socks off with their camera? The guys at the studio didn't really go out of their way to take a ton of photos, though, with the tablet, because quite frankly, if you take photos with the tablet, then you're one of those people who takes photos with the tablet, and, you know, well... Yeah. What tablet experience could be complete without testing the speakers? So we took our digital sound meter and set it 1 meter away from both the Shield and the Nexus. The Shield was a lot clearer at 74 decibels, while the Nexus was a bit more muffled and at a mere 66 decibels. So it goes to show you that front-facing speakers are not all created equally, and them grills on the Shield, no, not that kind of grills. Speaker grills are a little bit bigger than on the Nexus 9. So conclusion time, and if we're being honest here, It is hard to make a case to buy the Nexus 9 if you're a tablet user or even if you're upgrading from a Nexus 7. The 9 is priced a little bit on the high side here in Canada at $429, and with the only really redeeming qualities of the Nexus 9 being that you get the latest Android updates, it's hard to justify over the Shield tablet, which has expandable storage, better speakers, Nvidia's game stream functionality. It comes with a built-in stylus, as well as Nvidia's GPU accelerated pressure sensitivity when you're using the stylus. These are all just completely off the top of my head. In terms of the build quality, it is very similar feeling, although a little bit thicker. It has that game controller that you can use with it. Yes, it's a smaller screen, but for me personally, the difference between a 7-inch and a 9-inch, I actually went from using an iPad 2 to an iPad mini as really the tablet that I use most on the iOS side. I didn't really feel the difference. So there you go, guys. The Nexus 9 doesn't really get, the 2 thumbs up recommendation. It gets 1 thumb up for being perfectly good, whereas you have to be like the best in the category to get 2 thumbs up, and we still continue to give that to the Nvidia Shield, which is a great value, especially if you buy a graphics card at the same time. So what do you guys think about the Nexus 9? Is the NCIX crew here wrong about the Nexus 9? Am I wrong? Because I threw in a lot of my own thoughts as well. Leave a comment down below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX.